Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. Make sure you all like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And let's get at least one comment on this video and let's get to action. So today we're going to be using variables. And hopefully everybody's having a great day today. We are going to learn about variables before we can continue our journey. So updating. Variables we are called variable. Well, actually, before we get started, this app is called Mimo, Mimo. It's gonna be in the description below. If you all want to get a head start, get further along, and just track along with me, that's alright. You can start right now and download it. While it's downloading, you can continue with this video. But back into this. Variables are called variables because the value they store can change. We can update status by using the equal sign and giving it a new value. So you see from the first example, status is equal to watching Netflix. And we can change it to status, put equal, relaxing at the beach. So right here, status is STAT, gonna put stat for right now, is equal to let's say watching TV. And that's actually a valid variable, and this is the variable over to your left, var variable, and this is called your string, string. Your string will always have quotation marks if it's a string, and yeah, this is your variable. And then after your variable, you always have to have an equal sign to show that basically whatever behind the equal sign is going to be equals to whatever you want afterwards, which is watching TV right now. Alright. And then you press print. Pressing print will print is basically a function that basically tell the computer to, hey, I want this, which will be status. And remember again that status was equal to, let's see it, status was equal to watching TV. So if watching TV is equals to status, then basically once we do this print statement, it would basically show on the computer whatever status is equal to, which is watching TV. It won't come back and be like print. It won't come back and just display status. It will display whatever status is. Also, if you are lost, then you can go back to the previous videos. I have a playlist I have made for you all, so everything should be clear. So we can update variables as often as we want. Try it yourself. Change the value of status to new data required. So we see the first line of code says status equals incomplete. Status equal quotation mark complete quotation mark. And we're printing out status. So right here, this line basically print out the last status that we put in. So it'll update it into complete. So if we stop the code right there, it will just come out as complete instead of incomplete, because whatever your last code that if you have two variables and then one is on the first line and then one is on the fifth line, the one on the fifth line overrules the one on the first line. Okay, so we can update variables as often as we want. Try it yourself. Change the value of status to equal new data required. So basically, right here, we can change the variable, change the variable to equal new data required, which is a string, because again, strings have quotation marks. Strings as quotes, quotation marks. Alright. We can also give variables a value of other variables. Here we can give new status variable to the value of default option underscore option. So basically right here is saying here we can give new status, which is a variable, to the value of default option. So right here we can actually put default option right there, and whatever default option is, basically, hold on. So first line of code, it says default underscore option, right? And then it's equal to a string that is called upload, and new status is equal to a string called download. And then down here he got new status again, so we know this is going to overrule the first new status, and new status is going to equal to the default option. And because it do not have a quotation mark, that means it's not a string. That means it's another variable, which, yeah, we can use another variable to represent a variable. And this variable is basically going to store the string upload, because on the first line it says default option, and that matches with the third or the fourth line, which is new status equal what, default underscore option. And then once you put new status on last line, it will come out as upload. When we update a variable, if it gets the previous value, like what I said before, it overrules. But the last one is it's gonna take the most power. Here we can display the status variable twice and see how its value updates. Again, if you have any questions, you can put it inside the comments. Okay, so this right here, this question is asking basically when we update a variable, if it gets the previous value. Here we can display the status variable twice and see how its value update. So right here, once we print status, or first line of code, it says status, which is a variable, equals to a string called playing football. Once we print that out, it'll say playing football. But look here, status on the third line is equal to walking the dog. Status is the same variable that we use on the first line, but since this is the last, it's gonna update the last status. It's gonna update from the first one, and now from now on to the end of the code. Once we put status, unless we update it again, once we print out status, it's gonna equal to walking the dog. The question number one says, which of these lines of code updates the status variable? Right now you can pause the video, and then once you feel like you're ready, you can press play. Alright, so the question asks, which of these lines of code updates the status variable? So the first option says status equal working out, string working out, or status is equal to working out. So right here, we know that we're gonna go with number one. First of all, we haven't learned about the operator of two equal signs. So basically, yeah, this would be the first option. What does his code display in the console? Status equal watch Netflix. What does it display? So it's gonna display whatever status is, the variable status. And status is watch Netflix. And it asks, what does this code display? So you can right now pause the video. Once you get the answer, you can play the video. Alright, so the answer is watch Netflix, because it is stored. You can see in the output, it says watch Netflix at the bottom. What is wrong with this code? Alright, so name variable is going to be equal to Lori. The second line says name is equal to Joe. Asking what is wrong with this code? Alright, you can pause the video at this time. Alright, so the answer is nothing is wrong with this code. Why? You probably like, why is it the first one is right? Alright, so basically right here we can eliminate the second one because it says the same value is being stored inside the variable. We know from this lesson we can update the values to equal the same thing. So right here, name, which is a variable, okay, that makes sense, is equal, that makes sense, to a string called what, Lord? That makes sense. And we do the same thing on the second line. Second line says name, okay, that makes sense, name is a variable, equal, what it equal to? Joe, in quotation marks, which is a string. That makes sense, alright, so nothing's wrong with this code. Okay, what does this code display in the console? You can pause the video at this time. Alright, so this question asks us, what will this code display? So this code will display the last, okay, so the first line says variable in a list equals to a string called me. Again, if you don't know what a string is, you can go back to the first video, to the first couple videos in the playlist to find out that it is not difficult at all. So in the list is equal to mean. In the list is equal to median. Print analysis. So since it's 2, the second one or the last one, the last analysis overrules, and it will just keep the last one, which is median. Alright, so change the value in temperatures in the temperature variable to 100 degrees. So basically asking us to make a variable, we want it set to 100 degrees. That's one way to look at it. So we want the temperature value. So the first line of code says temperature is equal to the string 0 degrees. The second line, they want us to put the variable temperature in, so we can go ahead and put it in right now. Temperature is equal to what? 100 degrees, just like what they asked us to do. And we can print temperature, and of course the last temperature will run. So update the status variable to writing code in quotation marks. So the status is going to be equal to, which is variable, equal to writing code. Again, it's okay to have the same variable more than one time, as long as, because it's going to keep on updating. And it's going to print out writing code. In the last line, okay, writing code. So update the currency variable to $. So the first line says currency is equal to euro in quotation marks, which make it a string. The second line, it says currency is equal to what? $. Print. So we know this is a variable. The first line is a variable, has a variable. And the second line is the same variable. So what do we do? Since last currency, we know that it overrules because it's the last one. So we know that it will print out the last one when it says, when it come down to currency, when it says print. So change the value of status variable to done. So the first line of code, it says status. So that's the cool thing about Mimo. That basically you don't have to worry about actually going in and finding where the brackets at and where everything is at. Everything is stored right here in this little panel that's above my keyboard that you can see right there. So basically, yeah, right there in the little white area above my keyboard. So yeah, it's asking us to basically asking us, let's update status to done before we can basically tell the computer that we done. So how we do that? We first put the quotation mark, done, quotation mark to end it off. That's it. So told you today, lesson's gonna be very, very smooth. Everything went smooth. Again, you can just play the video if you are a little confused, or go somewhere else on YouTube. You might find a better explanation of the problem you're looking for, or look on, for instance, go on Google or Safari to find answers. And thank you for watching the video on today. Hope you all took notes. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.